In an unusual back-to-back playoff scenario, it is on to Game 4 here at Arco Arena in Sacramento, where the Kings had the best home record in the NBA during the regular season. But that did not help last night, which has put the Kings in a hole, and we are getting ready for the Dallas Mavericks and the Sacramento Kings as this Western Conference semifinal series continues with Game 4 of the best of 7. And moments ago, the scene as the Kings took the court. Well, they're ready here at Arco, and we welcome you. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv along with the czar. Mike Fratello will be joined in just a moment by Todd Harris. And the Sacramento Kings are in a jam. It is desperation time for this team. They do not want to go back to Dallas trailing 3-1. It's a Sacramento club that is without Chris Webber and a team that comes off a grueling double overtime loss last night.
Well, Marv, during the regular season, Sacramento was 10-5 without Chris Webber. Now with last night's loss, they're 10-6 overall. Without question, 1 through 12, when they have everyone, they are the deepest roster in the NBA. They have enough players to step up and win. But if you're Rick Adelman, you're addressing 3 issues going into tonight's game. First of all, they must create a Kings tempo, meaning that Dallas has thrown away the playbook. They just want to stay in the open floor as much as possible in attack. Well, the Kings need to pull it back a little bit and get into more set plays. Secondly, a steady low post diet. Coming into tonight's game, both teams have scored 140 points in the paint. D-Box is too much to handle for Dallas. Who else can the Kings send down into the low post area to take advantage of it? Remains to be seen. And the third thing is they need a Nick Van Exel stopper. In the last 2 games, Van Exel has combined for 76 points. This is unquestionably a must-win game for Sacramento. They want to turn this back into a 3-game series now, best 2 out of 3.
As for Dallas, last night Don Nelson got the usual strong performances from his big 3 of Dirk Nowitzki, Michael Finley, and Steve Nash, but it was Nick Van Exel once again with a spectacular effort coming off the bench, and he provided quite a lift.
Don Nelson started last night's game with a small lineup, and then they went even smaller when he early on substituted Van Exel for Eduardo Nahara, and Van Exel has simply been too much to handle for them in the series thus far. Game 1, only 20 points in 34 minutes. In Game 2, 36 points, 6 assists in 30 minutes. And then in Game 3, 40 points in 48 minutes. In Games 2 and 3 combined, 11 for 20 from the three-point line. Now, if you ask, shouldn't Nick Van Exel really be started? The answer is yes, he should. But he did start 1 game earlier this season. They had a bad night. He had a bad night. He went back to Don Nelson and said, I'm superstitious. Just keep me coming off the bench. And that's what they'll do again tonight.
All right, so coming up, it is Game 4. It's the Mavericks and the Kings. The Kings hoping to tie the series at 2. Dallas would love to take a 3-1 lead back home for game number 5. This is the 177th consecutive sellout here at Arco Arena in the capital city. Here's a look at the starting lineups for the Dallas Mavericks. Michael Finley, Eduardo Nahara, Dirk Nowitzki up front. Roger Bell playing for the injured Adrian Griffin, who has a sprained ankle, and Steve Nash comprised the backcourt. Sacramento with Pedro Stojakovic, Shahito Turkoglu, and Vlade Divac on the front line. Doug Christie and Mike Bibby are at the guard. The officiating crew, Steve Javy, Ron Garrison, Mark Wunderlich, just the crew that worked the Lakers-Spurs Game 3 in Los Angeles Friday night. And they say they are not suffering Jack Nicholson withdrawal.
This crew got a lot of ink that next day because Jack was up on his feet voicing his opinion. I thought overall they handled the thing pretty well. Eventually they warned him, but they got through it.
Divac and Nowitzki on the opening tip. Little fake there. And the toss is handled by the Mavericks. Last night, the wild one. Dallas beating Sacramento in double overtime, 141 to 137. Mavericks were down by 16 in the first quarter. Here's Finley, played by Christie and had it stripped. Christie going all the way. Michael Finley took a swipe, and there was nobody back to help.
Almost looked like he picked up his dribble and then just kept going again.